and welcome to Let's Talk Aging. My name is Gwyneth Johnson, and I'm the CEO of Second Wind Dreams. We are an organization dedicated to changing the perception of aging. Through this series, our goal is to showcase those individuals and organizations dedicated to changing that very perception. Today, we are lucky enough to have with us Patty Lyons, the president of Senior Services Incorporated. It is located in Savannah. Welcome, Patty. It is a pleasure to have you with us, Patty, and I would like to introduce everybody viewing to Patty Lyons, president of Senior Citizens, Inc. They're located in Savannah and are a multi-purpose senior citizens organization. Thank you so much for being with us.
Kidding is such a joy, and nothing I like talking more about than getting older and seniors. So,
absolutely. Well, let's launch right in and tell us about Senior Citizens Inc. What is your mission, and tell us about your organization.
We're really unique. We were started as a grassroots organization. Our founder, 63 years ago, noticed that some of his neighbors were struggling as they got older, particularly with feeding themselves, getting to the grocery store and all that. So he pulled together 3 of his friends, and then for a long time, they would get together once a week, pack up lunches for 13 people and deliver them. And from that, this organization grew. And the entire concept, the mission is to help people age successfully. And so that's how they started with, well, okay, food, that's a given. Let's take care of that. And we now serve more than 10,000 older adults in our community. And we do a variety of things. And what I love about us is that we're a private nonprofit. So we can design whatever it is we're seeing in our community as a need that needs to be met. And we're so unique. It was organic. It wasn't planned that we would be this beacon for the community for where you turn to for help if you're an older adult. It's just at the time, nobody really thought about taking care of older adults. And so because they were these scrappy people that, wanted to fill gaps, we've ended up being the place in this community where you turn to. And it truly is a wonderful thing for this community. And we do, as I mentioned, anything that we think of. We started with meals. We now provide Meals on Wheels programming. We feed more than 1,800 people a day with lunches. And we have 2 adult day health centers, daycare centers. We operate neighborhood centers, which are the more traditional model, but we work really hard to make them not traditional. Mm-hmm. While bingo is still a blood sport, it's not something they do every day. It's really aimed at life enrichment and not just let's feed them lunch and eat puzzles and then head home. We have employment for older adults. We have companionship, in-home services. We have a volunteer-driven, no pun intended, but transportation service, mm-hmm. where volunteers take seniors where they need to go, so that this is peer-to-peer support and not, let us take care of you thing. And I think one of my favorite things that we do is a program called the Learning Center. And it is driven by what is interesting for all of us. And what I frequently hear, we have programming all day long. We have 600 people that come in and take classes pre-pandemic, and we just reopened, which I'm so pleased to say. But pre-COVID, people would come in, they get a catalog of intelligent, thought-provoking programming, and you pick what you want to attend. And we've got foreign language discussion groups. We've got a movie class that meets. We show the movie, and then there's a lecturer on the director, whatever the theme is. We had a program last night. We hosted the British Consul General, and he came and talked on what Britain is like after Brexit. And what does that mean for foreign trade? What does that mean for the US? And
Wow.
there is this huge, he's well up in the ranks in the British government, and sitting here talking to us about the differences between the relationship with President Trump and the relationship with President Biden, and you know what it means not to be part of the EU. I mean, it was just so fascinating. And it was our first time to open up post-pandemic, and we had 100 people, and which was freaky in its own way, because for so long we haven't seen people in that kind of mass, you know. But it was in a room that normally holds 300, so we did spread people out. But it's that type of programming is what we're known for, is really trying to fill the gap, whatever that might be.
That's spectacular and so forward thinking, and treating people like adults, not older adults.
It's the truth. That's being older myself and having taken care of my mom, and I want a place that I'm going to enjoy when I'm not working, and you know, I'm not quite ready for retirement, and that's the benchmark we ask, and we talk to our folks. You know, we ask them, what's the kind of food you like to eat if we're serving them with meals? You know, what is the programming that you want to see at the Learning Center? You know, not to be pandering. And,
Yep.
you know, we take Older Americans Act money. I'm acting like it's a big struggle to take. No, we love having Older Americans Act money, but the thing that bothers me is that it's so prescriptive. You know, if you run a congregate program, you've got to do X number of minutes of nutritional education and X number of programs on this. And I'm like, they will tell you what they want to know. You know,
Yep.
they will tell you what they want. And I think we're seeing a shift in the country. I think as baby boomers, and I really don't like that phrase, but as that huge population bubble is getting there, they're demanding something different. And I think as a society, we have to be ready to offer that.
We do, absolutely. Well, cheers. Your programming is spectacular.
It means a lot coming from you.
Well, I've been at the Learning Center pre-COVID, obviously, and was just amazed at what you all offer and the passion of your team. You have great folks working with you.
I think that's a given with most people in aging. I really find, I didn't think this is where I would end up. I was always a environment person, or you know, animals, and I never dreamed that I would find something that I would enjoy working in the rest of my life. You know,
Yeah.
I admire people who know when they're in college what, you know, they're going to do. I had no idea. So
Yeah. I'm very much the same way. Well, could you tell me what's something that you have learned that you really cherish, having worked with older adults?
Oh my gosh, I've learned so much. My team right now, we're really talking about what it's like to get older. I've always been haunted by the fact I deliver meals every week, and so I would meet a client, spend time with them. Their time would come and they would pass, and I would read their obituary, and they had this incredible life prior to me knowing them. prior to them needing meals delivered or whatever service. And I had no idea. And it still kind of haunts me that I never learned what they had, I never gleaned what they had done. And so we're really trying to work on how to make our clients still feel significant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think probably it's coming from having those experiences with them and then realizing as a society that for so many of us, so much of our life is what we did while we were working, and that we got our significance in the community because of what we did as a job. And that's not what makes you significant. And that's been probably the biggest lesson for me. And I think as I start to look at retirement myself, we've got to be better at helping us keep that significance. I've learned a lot, though. I mean, you can't talk to another human being and not learn something, you know. But one thing I do know is older adults want to keep their independence as long as possible. They want to always have a choice, but they're no different than anyone else. It's just become such an important point at this nexus in their life where they, you know, they're being told what to do now. They're being told that you're going to live here. You're going to do this, you know. And I'm embarrassed to say I did that to my mother, you know. I actually uttered those words, well, Mama, if you're living in my house, you're going to do what I say, you know. And I thought, oh my Lord, where have I heard that one before? But, you know, I think probably what I've learned the most is that there's no difference. You know, we're all human. Some of us have been on the earth longer than others. And so my job is just not helping seniors, I'm helping human beings, you know?
Absolutely.
So that was a long answer. Sorry about that, Gwen.
No, that's great. There was a lot to that. How can individuals become involved in supporting elders in your community?
You know, I think it's the timeless church thing of you give your time, talent, or your treasures. You know, that's it takes being a good human being. You know, you can have a profound difference in someone's life just by talking to them when you see them. You know, and if you're living in the community, you need, you know, if you want to help an older person, find out, are they living near you? And then taking the time to talk to them and do their grocery shopping for them, you know, but don't just assume that they're helpless and they can't do it, but start that relationship. And that's how you change the world. That's, you know, we're all going to need it at some point. You know, I fell down a flight of steps, hadn't intended to it, but, you know, I ended up being incapacitated for a period of time. And I thought, oh, this is what it's like.
Yep.
You know? Well, and we've all gone through this with COVID-19. We all know what it's like to be an isolated senior now, you know, somebody that's homebound. And look how wild we all are now that we're, you know, sort of out in the world again, you know, but they're still in their life. They're still, you know, maybe they've lost their family. Maybe, you know, they're the last of their generation that's still alive. And, you know, the sad truth is with Meals on Wheels, oftentimes the person bringing a meal is the only person they're going to talk to that day. And that's sad for anybody.
Yep.
And I think it's just giving your time. That's how you can make the biggest difference is have that conversation and talk to them as a person. So,
I couldn't agree more.
I know I'm getting a little preachy. Sorry about that.
No, you are just fine. And you're echoing what's in my heart. So thank you.
Oh.
One last question for you today. How do you change the perception of aging?
Oh, You know, I think it's happening. I've been at Senior Citizens for 23 years, which is just amazing to me. And I'm starting to hear, I was on a Zoom call earlier today, and someone was talking about how Grady Hospital is looking at all their processes to go, are we making it harder for older adults than we have to? How can we make this easier? And we're starting to hear from the federal government and the state government who monitors a lot of the Older Americans Act money of, okay, maybe we've been too rigid. Let's let them tell us what we want. And I think that's all in changing that perception of aging. And I think it's also this huge bubble that's coming, that's moving through, this huge generation that is forcing that change. And it's also, I mean, you're seeing it in commercials. You see Dove just recently did an entire series on the beauty of aging, and it's showing these, all of us, you know, it's showing us all, regardless of, you know, our race, our age, our gender, that trying to look at people as whole people. I think that will change the perception of aging. And we're also living so much longer. You know, I used to think about how you would hear that someone, my husband and I, this is what comes from growing up in a town like Savannah. You know, he reads the obituaries every day. And it's always, oh, he was only 70. You know, that used to be never words that came out of people's mouths, you know. Exactly. And it's true. In my head, I'm like, oh, only 70. You know, I think we're living longer, we're healthier. We all are forcing the world to keep us active and, you know, do things that aren't pandering. And I think we're changing it ourselves.
Fantastic. Well, Patty, thank you so much for being with me today. And I can't wait till we get to talk to each other again.
I look forward to it, and I love what you all are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patty. And thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Aging. As you have time, please visit our website. I would like to have you focus on our Dreams program. It is an opportunity for elder care communities, but also for volunteers and community groups to become engaged with one another and to change the perception of aging through the fulfillment of dreams. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on Let's Talk Aging.